Hi, I'm Josh, your American English guide, and in today's lesson we are going to finally be looking at some examples of linking. We're going to be focusing mostly on the 4 general rules that we saw a couple lessons ago, as well as the 4 big exceptions that are exceptions of Rule 2, which are actually applications of Rule 1. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. Go back and watch the first lesson on linking here, and then watch the second lesson, and then come back here and you will be good to go. With that, let's jump into our first example sentence and see what's going on. Okay, so our first sentence is, "It's about time." It's about time. Now, what do you notice here? Let's look at the first 2 words. It's about. It's about. So we have the first general rule, number 1, which is that consonants connect to vowels. In this particular case, the T and the S are actually like one sound unit. You can't really separate them. It's a special thing that kind of happens. So both of those are going to move. Right? We're not going to say it's about. Why would we do that, right? It's about. It's about, okay? It's about. Then we have about and time. Okay? About time. About time. So we're going from a T sound to another T sound. Now we saw that special rule that if you have 2 of the same consonant, it will extend and make it a little longer. You can't really do that with the T, so we kind of hold our breath for a second. We're going to talk a lot more about how the T works in the future when we look at consonants. That's going to happen very soon. But here it sounds like about time. About time. It's about time. It's about time. Next. Do you want to learn English? Okay, now there's a couple different ways to say some of these sentences based on reductions and based on certain other possible connection rules. We're not going to worry about every little detail here, but let's go ahead and go through this. Do and you. Both of these words can reduce to a schwa sound. If we say do, which is the oo sound, spelled with an O, but it's an oo sound, and we go to y, do you. Okay. Vowel to consonant doesn't connect, right? They flow, there's no problem, but no, there's nothing special there. If we say duh instead, duh you or duh ya, now we're going from a schwa, the vowel sound, schwa, to y, vowels to consonants, no connection. So either way, there's no connection here. You and want. Okay, if we reduce you to ya, to the schwa sound, ya, and we say ya want, you want. That's okay. It flows, but there's no connection. However, in this case, we're very likely to keep the full pronunciation you instead of reducing it. Why? Well, what's the next sound? The next sound is a W, right? W. The end of oo, right, which is the oo sound, the end of you is close to the W, so we just go all the way into a W and open into ah. You are, you want, you want. Okay. So that flows and could be a connection there. Very nice. It's like a long W sound. Then we have want and to. Now we know that to pretty much always reduces to t. Usually. Almost always. Not always, but usually. Now with want to, you can do like we did with about time. Want to. And that's fine. We will sometimes say it like that. Of course, we could say wanna, which is actually 2 or 3 connection rules working at the same time. We're not going to worry about that right now, okay? But we have want to or wanna. Either way is fine. We go from wanna to learn. Okay, so we have that n at the end of wanna or t, if we keep the T. And we're going to learn. L. So the schwa to the consonant L. Now this is not going to be the vowel L. It's not going to be like an L-colored schwa or something like that, because the L in learn is at the start of the next word. It's at the start of a new syllable. So we're going to go from vowel sound, to consonant sound, ul. Wanna learn. And they flow, but there's no connection there. Okay, there's nothing special. When we go from learn to English, okay, do we have anything here? Well, we see that N, and the first sound at the start of English is E, so we're going to get ni. Learn English. Okay, learn English. So all together, do you want to learn English? Do you want to learn English? Do you want to learn English? Next, they look like animals. They look like animals. They look like animals. What do we notice here? Well, let's start at the beginning. If we say they and look, they look, they look. Okay, well, clearly that flows very nicely. But do you hear anything special? I hear the A diphthong, they, and then I hear an L. They look. Nothing special there, no connection. Okay, we're going vowel to consonant. That doesn't give us a connection. If we go look to like, this one can be very difficult to pronounce because we're going from the k in the back, look. And remember, look is a high schwa, look. And then we're going to the L, like, kla, look like. Make sure that there's no extra sound in between the K and the L. Okay, these do not connect. They kind of almost hit each other. They run into each other. And so we get kla. But do not say kla. Okay, it's not look-alike. Okay, if you do that, it's going to be the word alike, which means similar. Okay, it would be a completely different word. So you need to go straight from k to ul. There's no connection here. Not even a flow. It's very, very difficult to do. Okay, then we have like and animals. Okay, like animals. So you hear canimals, like animals. Remember, the E at the end of like is silent. It's just spelling. It has no effect on connection rules at all. So, they look like animals. They look like animals. Next, we're waiting for you to leave. We're waiting for you to leave. This one, again, it has a couple variations in certain parts, but let's start at the beginning here, okay? We're waiting. We're waiting. So first we have this R-colored E or R-colored I, right? First or second vowel, doesn't matter. So it's an R-colored vowel, but the end of the R-colored vowels is the sound, right? So that's the thing that would connect or not connect, is the part. So if we're going from we're to waiting, okay, we have that W at the beginning of waiting. They flow very nicely, right? We hear the we hear the w, the W, but there's nothing special, okay? There's no connection, there's no blending, there's no moving, okay? So nothing there. Waiting and for, okay? Now we're going from in the way that I pronounce it, in, to f, right, in for. So nf, inf. No connection. Now for, I probably mentioned this before, maybe not, but the preposition for, if it's at the end of a sentence, you always want to say for with the R-colored O, okay, or. However, if it's anywhere else in a sentence, the most natural common way to say it is to reduce it to fur, if it's not stressed, which it's usually not stressed, right? We'd learned that before. If you see OR and it's not stressed, it'll become because if we go from fur to you, or fur to ya, either way, it doesn't matter, whether it's or in terms of the connection, it doesn't matter. Now you go from to y, ya. They flow, but we hear both. Very clear, nothing special going on, no moving, no anything. From U to tu. Okay, now we know tu usually reduces to t. In this case, it's actually going to change to d with a d sound. Okay, so still a schwa, but with a d instead of a t. This is part of American English. There's a reason why this is happening. We're going to learn more about that later. Okay, but we can either say yuda or yada. If we reduce u to ya, that's fine. But do we have a connection here? Okay, if we go u, da, yuda, yuda. No, they flow. They flow. We're going vowel to consonant. Or maybe you could say W to consonant, Yuda. It's almost a W. Still doesn't really work. Doesn't work here. Or Yada, Yada, still vowel to consonant. There's no connection, okay? They flow, no connection. And then we have ta or da and leave. So we're going again, that schwa to that L, just like we saw before with wanna learn. It's going to be exactly the same. We're going from a vowel to a consonant, no connection, okay? We're waiting for you to leave. We're waiting for you to leave. Next, I can only imagine, okay? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. So what do we notice there? Notice I said can, I can only. Can, the positive, not the negative. Okay, just the positive. Usually will reduce to the second vowel sound I or a schwa. It could also be a schwa, that's fine too. So it would be kin. Now if we say I can only, okay, I can. So we're going from the I, diphthong, a vowel sound, to the k sound. Vowel to consonant, does it connect? Nope, right? The general rule 4, no connection. What if we go from kin to only? What do we have? Well, we have that N sound, right? Then we have an O sound, so no, sounds just like no. Can only, okay? And we really hear that connection because now it sounds like that N is actually part of that stressed syllable O, right? Knowly, can only. With only and imagine, is there a connection? What's the last sound in the word only? E, right? It's the first vowel, E. It's not a Y sound. It's spelled with a Y. Remember, many times, probably most of the time that you see the letter Y at the end of a word, it actually represents the E vowel sound. So we're saying only, and then we're going to imagine. What's the first sound in imagine? It's the second vowel, I, like it, right? So we're going from E to I. And what happens when we go from E or I to any other vowel sound? Well, we're gonna get a small Y, small Y sound. And so we're actually gonna hear I, okay? Not only I, only I, only imagine, only imagine. So very nice, I can only imagine. Next, before she goes, give her this. Before she goes, give her this. So we have some interesting things happening here, but there's actually not a lot of connections in this sentence. So we have before. Now, the full pronunciation is B, right? Before, but that usually gets reduced to a schwa, b, okay? The for in the second syllable is stressed, it has to say or, okay? Not or, before. Now we're going from before to she. So we have and sh, ersh. Now in British English, this sounds very light, right? Before she, before. And they have that really light R there. But in American English, if you really want that American sound, this is going to sound very, very deep going to that SH, okay? Before she. So there's no connection there, okay? We hear the we hear the sh. It's consonant to consonant, right? Or you could even say vowel to consonant. But there's nothing special going on here, okay? She goes. So we have E, she goes, okay? Vowel to consonant. no connection, no connection. But if we go goes and give, just pretend there's no comma, zg, zg, right? It's an S letter, goes, but it's not an S sound, goes, z, okay? Goes, give, goes, give. So even if there were no comma, the z and the g, they clash, they hit each other. It's not good, okay? There's no connection there. So, give and her. Is there a connection there? Give her, give her. Well, if you noticed when I was saying the sentence earlier, I said giver, giver, with no H. This is another specific connection rule that we're going to learn more about later, but very often an H at the start of a word, especially if it's not stressed, if it's not a stressed syllable, that H will disappear if there is a possible connection. So here, give, right, which is the second vowel sound, I, right, give, even though that has a silent E, this is an exception to that spelling rule. We're going to say give, and we're going to ver. You can say the H, give her, that's fine. We will say that sometimes, it might happen that way, but usually the H will disappear and we'll get ver. Just like someone who gives is a giver, okay? Exactly the same. Her this, her this. So we're going which is a vowel, but it could also maybe be a consonant in connections, to another consonant, th, okay? This, earth. They flow, but there's really nothing special going on there, right? We just hear both of them very clearly. Before she goes, give her this. Next, how much is an apple? How much is an apple? How much is an apple? Interesting. So we have how and much. So we're going from ow, that diphthong ow, how. Now notice where are my lips? How. They're very closed. Not quite a W, but very, very close. Just like the end of O and U, the end of ow is the same position. Now we go to the M in much. Well, for the M, you close your lips all the way, right? So we just keep going. How much? Now you might think that's a sort of connection, and you could maybe look at it that way, but we hear the ow, we hear the we don't hear any blending. It doesn't sound like the ow is moving, right? It's not how much. That doesn't work. It's how much. So these flow perfectly. They flow perfectly. But I would say there's no real connection here. There's no linking going on. Much and is. The word is pronounced is. Second vowel plus Z. It can be reduced to sort of like a schwa sound, or almost just kind of completely eaten up and the vowel would disappear. Depending. We can't always do that. Here you could do that. You could say much is, connection. Chiz with a CH, right? Chiz. Muches, or you could say like muches with like a schwa sound. At that point, it kind of almost disappears, almost like it's a contraction, right? In this case, you could do that. That's fine here. When we go from is to an, the word an often reduces to either in, like the preposition, or un with a schwa sound. Either way is fine. So we could say isan, isun, isin. But in all cases, here we hear that Z sound in is connecting over to that vowel sound, okay? Isn't. So how much isn't, okay? So we see those middle two words, they really are super, super small, and they're just kind of flow into each other, right? Much isn't. And then we have apple. Well, what's at the end of an? The letter N, the sound N, right? So we're going to apple, napple with the N, an apple. Okay, so that one also connects. So here, the first two words don't connect, but we get much is an apple. All the rest of the words connect. Consonant to vowel, consonant to vowel, consonant to vowel. Next, this sentence is a little bit longer, but I'm free on Sunday if you want to hang out. I'm free on Sunday if you want to hang out. So, I'm free. We go from to f, mf. Nothing special there. They flow pretty well. It's okay. No connection. Okay. Free on. Free on. Free on. Okay, remember we're going from E to another vowel, so we get a small Y. Free on. Okay, and remember that vowel sound in on is the 5th vowel sound, spelled with an O, but it's ah in the back, right? Free on. Next we have Sunday. So we're going from N to S. On Sunday. Ns, ns. They flow very, very well. The S is right there close to the N in the mouth. But there's nothing special here. Next we're going from Sunday to if. Okay, what do we have here? What's the last sound in Sunday? Now it's spelled A-Y, but it's the diphthong A, right? A. So that's a vowel. Now notice, remember, A ends in the I position. Sounds like E, but it doesn't really matter for the connection because both the first vowel E and the second vowel I will follow that same connection rule of a small Y, small Y sound if the next word starts in a vowel sound. So we go from Sunday if, Sunday if, Sunday if. Okay, so we do have a connection there. If and U, fia, fia, fia. F and Y, they flow nicely, fia. So they go nicely, but there's nothing special happening there. Okay, no connection, no linking. You and want, okay, we saw this before, right? You want, we can keep that W sound, connect it, easy. Or you can say you want with a schwa, you want. In that case, there's no connection, but it still flows. Want and to, of course, wanna, wanta. Either way is fine. We talked about that. Now with ta and hang out. Okay. Now first I want to point out that inside the word hang out, we have the hang. It's in the back. It's where the k and the g are. It's like a back end sound. Okay, you just let it go through your nose. And we're going from that to out. Hang out. Hang out. Right? It would be a consonant to a vowel. Now if we go from t to hang, now I mentioned before that you can maybe drop that H. In this case it's stressed, we're probably going to keep it, but can we drop it? Can we say wanna hang out? Wanna hang. Okay, so we go vowel to vowel, which means there's no connection there. It's general rule number 2 without the exception. Okay, go from schwa to A, the diphthong A, and they would flow. And you can do that here, right? If you want to hang out. If you want to hang out. You don't actually have to say the H there. It's okay. I'm free on Sunday if you want to hang out. Next, when does Tom leave the office? When does Tom leave the office? Okay, notice I'm saying when does. So when, full pronunciation, when, is often reduced to win with a second vowel, win. You don't have to do that, but it's very common. Does is a schwa, but notice I'm really minimizing that schwa. When does. It's almost like there's no vowel sound there at all. When does. But when we go from n to d, is there a connection? Nd. Clearly not. The N and the D are in the same position. But the D, we kind of hear it. It's almost like it breaks between N and D. Nd. With does and Tom. Does Tom. Okay. Again, the end of does is a Z. Does. When does Tom? Okay. When does Tom? With Z to T, no connection. Zt. Okay. They sort of hit each other. So right at the start of this sentence, these first 3 words, they kind of hit each other, right? When does Tom? So we can hear they kind of stand out. They stick out a bit, right? Because they don't flow very well. Tom and leave. Tom leave. It's not too bad. We're closing the lips for the M and we can bring the L up inside the mouth while the lips are still closed. When we open the lips, the L is there. That's what I call an overlap. Okay, we're going to talk more about that later. But there's not really any sort of connection. Okay, Tom leave. So they flow pretty well. Leave the. Okay, again, silent E at the end of leave. So we go v, the V sound, to the TH sound. V. Some of you might not be able to hear the difference between those two sounds, and that's okay. We're going to learn more about those later in the consonants. So they flow pretty well, but there's no connection. We clearly hear both sounds. They almost kind of clash and hit each other. Okay. Now, the office. So here we see where you could say the office and connect with the little y, the office. Or you could just say the office, like I mentioned in the other video. The office. Okay, so that would be second rule, where you're going from schwa sound, to any other vowel. The office. Okay, it doesn't matter. No connection there. When does Tom leave the office? Next, we have New Year's Eve is Adam's only day off. This is going to be a big one. New Year's Eve is Adam's only day off. So you should already hear some of those connections, right? So New Year's. At the end of new, we have the oo sound, new, okay? And then we're going to y. So just like we saw before, this is not going to connect. Like we saw do you or do ya, they're not going to connect, okay? They're going to flow, not connect. Year's Eve. Okay, we can clearly hear zeev, okay? The end of years is a Z sound, okay? And we're going to go eve, zeev. So consonant to vowel, general rule number 1. Next we have eve is. So we're going v to e, second vowel in is. Eviz, viz. Of course we connect, consonant to vowel. Year's Eve is. Now is Adams. We really hear Zadams. So that's going to connect again. All three of these are the same rule. General rule number 1, consonants connect to vowels. Then we have Adams only. Okay, Adam with apostrophe S is pronounced with a Z. Adams only. So again, we hear zonly. Connection again. Okay, 4 words in a row. Connection. Same connection even. Only day. Can we connect this? Is there something special here? Only day. We're going from E to D. Eid. No. Then we go day off. And this does connect. We have diphthong A, get a small y, to ah, day off. So most of these words are connected and with the exact same rule. But we get one nice big long sound for the most part. New Year's Eve is Adam's only day off. Next one, we're almost done. We have 2 more here. How on earth is Alex still awake? Okay, how on earth is Alex still awake? How on earth is Alex still awake? So how on? All right, here, so we have diphthong ow, which ends close to W, and then we have ah, the 5th vowel for on. So we're going from the O or U, or the diphthong ow, which has the same ending position, to any other vowel, and we get a small W, a small W, right? How on. On earth. Okay, so that N is connecting over to Okay, it's spelled E-A-R here, but it's It's just the one vowel sound, Now, earth and is. So we have the TH, earth, right? Voiceless TH. Going to I, the vowel sound, the second vowel sound. So th. This connects also. Is an Alex? Of course, we have the z to a, Zalex. Okay, Alex and still. This one can't connect, right? Does it? I don't know. Alex still. Well, the X, the sound x, right? It's a K, it's like a K and an S put together. X. So the end of Alex is an S sound. And the start of still is an S sound. So we actually get a slightly longer S. Again, that's that special little rule where if you have two of the same vowel sound, it'll become slightly longer. So far we have how on earth is Alex still? So they're all connected in some way. That's pretty cool, right? Now what about the last one? Still and awake. Well, the start of awake is a schwa sound, spelled with an A, but it's a schwa. Awake, awake, okay? The end of still is an L. Is it a full L or is it a half L? Right? Is it a consonant or is it a vowel? Well, it's going to be the half L vowel sound. So still, not still, still. Now if we go from the half L vowel to any other vowel, what happens? In this special case, remember, we can choose to keep it as a half L. We can say still awake, in which case it's general rule number 2. Vowels just flow into vowels, they don't connect, right? Still awake, that's fine. Or you can activate the vowel and it would become one of the 4 exceptions where we actually create a consonant between the two. So still awake, awake. Okay, so the L would connect over to still awake. So if you connect it, all of the words in this sentence are connected. Every single word is connected. If you don't connect the L at the end there and you leave it a half L, then it's okay. It still flows, but everything else is still connected. Again, this is one reason why English can be hard to hear, because you can have an entire sentence that is connected in some way, and so sounds are moving, sounds are blending, all this crazy stuff is happening, and you're trying to hear how on earth is, but that's not what we say. We say how on earth is, how on earth is. And the last sentence, he dreams about it every night. He dreams about it every night. Another interesting one. He dreams. He dreams. Okay, so we're going from E to D. Actually, it's a J because the D sound plus the consonant sound will combine into jr. We'll actually create a J sound, jr, with an R. So we're going from E to J. Eej, eej. They kind of flow, okay, kind of sort of, but there's no connection there, right? He dreams, okay. Dreams about. Okay, we get another Z sound, right? Dreams, schwa at the start of about, zabout. That will connect over, general rule number 1. About it. Okay, notice I'm saying about it, with a D sound. Again, that's part of that American English sound. About it. Okay, we're going to learn those rules very soon. It and every. So this is also going to turn into a D. Okay, it every. It every. It every. About it every. About it every. That can be hard to say. Then we have every, which notice is not every. You can say it that way. Usually we don't. We say every night. Okay, every night. Every night. So we're going from E at the end of every, right, spelled with a Y, but again it's an E sound, to N, vowel to consonant, no connection, every night. They flow here, but there's no connection. He dreams about it every night. Okay, so those are our 12 sentences. So if you want to get more practice with linking, number 1, we will be talking about some more specific linking rules in the future in this course. Also, there is of course the pronunciation analysis playlist, which I do plan to add more lessons to in the near future. Definitely let me know if you are looking forward to that in the comments below. In the next lesson, before we start the consonants, we're going to do a special lesson where we just see many examples of linking. And you will have a chance to test yourself and really try to apply these general rules and the 4 big exceptions. And this will be very similar to what we saw with the stress lesson, the big stress lesson that just had lots of example words for you to listen and repeat and get it sort of into your brain. Thank you so much for watching another English Hacks lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.